you've got to understand one thing about me right from the start. I'm the person who holds everything together. My name is Amara, I'm 32, and my calendar looks like a military operation. 8 a.m., drop off muffins for the new neighbors, the ones in 4B. 12:30 p.m., call Jen, check in, she sounded down yesterday. 6 p.m., host the neighborhood watch meeting, bring snacks, print new contact lists. This isn't a complaint. I love it. I live for it. I'm an event planner by trade, but chief community organizer is my real job. The block parties, the potlucks, the who's watching whose kid spreadsheet, that's all me. I'm the social glue. I'm the one they call when they need a shoulder, a favor, or a last-minute ride. This role, it's my comfort zone. It's my armor. I know why, okay? I'm not clueless. It all goes back to being a kid. I was the good, helpful girl. That's how I got my parents' attention. I was a quiet kid, but they were busy, lost in their own world. If I wasn't setting the table, or acing a test, or making my little brother stop crying, I was basically invisible. I learned really young that my value wasn't in just being. My value was in what I did for other people. If I wasn't being useful, I was just taking up space. So this life I've built, being the indispensable center of my world, it's not just a nice to have. It's essential. It's how I know I'm safe. It's how I know I'm loved. My biggest fear isn't spiders or heights. My biggest, darkest, keep me up at 3 a.m. terror is being useless. It's the idea that one day, my friends will just not need me anymore. That's why this is so hard to explain. Because that fear, it's starting to happen. It started small, just little blips. I was planning the big annual spring fling. That's my event. I've run it for 5 years. I went to the rec center to book the main hall, and the clerk, Janice, she just smiled and said, "Oh, you already took care of that yesterday, Amara. Paid the deposit and everything." I just stood there. My blood went cold. I hadn't. I was in back-to-back client meetings all day. I checked my calendar, nothing. I checked my credit card, no charge. I tried to laugh it off. "Wow, I must be losing it," I said. A simple mix-up, right? Janice must have confused me with someone else. But the hall was booked, under my name. Then, a few days later, my best friend Lycan texted me, "Thanks for letting me vent last night. You always know exactly what to say. I feel 1,000,000 times better." I hadn't spoken to Lycan in 3 days. I was the one who was supposed to call her. I stared at the text. "Of course," I typed back, my fingers feeling numb. Anytime. Someone is out there wearing my life. And the worst part, the part that's choking me, they're doing it better than me. The muffins I supposedly dropped off, the new neighbor, bless her heart, texted our group chat to say they were the best she'd ever had, and she needed the recipe. My recipe is from a box. Lycan, who I've been trying to cheer up for months, sounds happier than she has in, well, months. Something has hijacked my identity. Something is stealing my friends, stealing my purpose. And I'm terrified they're going to realize that this new, improved Amara is so much better, they don't need the original at all. The simple mix-up theory died a week later at my own potluck. It was supposed to be my welcome party for the new family on the block. I organize the welcome potlucks. It's my thing. I make my famous 7-layer dip. I bring the name tags. I curate the playlist. A perfect blend of chill indie and upbeat classics. I was in my element, buzzing around, clipboard in hand, making sure everyone had a drink. Then, as I was setting up the dessert table, someone tapped me on the shoulder. "You must be Amara. I've heard so much about you." I turned around and, honestly, she was stunning. Not in an intimidating way, just effortlessly pretty with this bright, warm smile that just pulled you in. She looked like she smelled like sunshine and clean laundry. "I'm Hannah," she said, holding out a perfectly wrapped box of homemade macarons. "I just moved into 4B. I hope you don't mind. I brought these. And I also made a second 7-layer dip. I saw in the group chat it was your signature, but I figured you could never have too much, right?" My smile felt like it was cracking. My dip was in the fridge. The group chat? I run the group chat. I hadn't posted about my dip. It's lovely to meet you, Hannah. Welcome. As she walked away, I felt this strange, cold jolt, like running into an old school bully, even though I'd never seen this woman before in my life. She just slotted herself right into the party, charming everyone. Within 10 minutes, she knew Jen's dog's name. She asked Hanzo about his new job. She was doing my job. I tried to shake it off. I'm not a jealous person, I'm the helper. So I went into full helper mode, grabbing drinks, introducing people, turning up the music. But I couldn't stop watching her. I needed a break, a second to reset my social battery. So I slipped out to the balcony for some air. It was dark and quiet, and I was just leaning on the railing, taking a breath. I saw her through the sliding glass door. She was talking to Lycan, my Lycan. They were laughing, and Lycan was glowing, beaming. Then Lycan turned to grab a drink from the table. This is the part I can't get out of my head. For maybe 2 seconds, Hannah was alone. She thought no one was watching. Her smile didn't just fade, it switched off. Like a light. Her face went completely unnaturally still. Her eyes, they weren't just blank, they were empty. Like 2 black stones. It was the most horrible, sterile, nothing expression I'd ever seen. It lasted just a second. Then Lycan turned back, and that bright, perfect Hannah smile clicked right back into place. My heart was hammering. I felt sick. I just stood there in the dark, frozen. It wasn't just a weird look. It was a mask dropping. I wasn't looking at a person. I was looking at a thing pretending to be one. I spent the next 2 days in a total fog. Denial. I must have imagined it. I was tired, stressed from the spring fling mix-up. This Hannah was just a little intense, that's all. I was just being petty because she was new and charming. My old need to be needed wound was flaring up, right? That had to be it. I was just jealous that someone else was helping, which made me feel like a terrible, selfish person. So I decided to fix it. I was going to reestablish my territory, prove that I was the real helper. I texted Lycan, "Hey, felt like we haven't really talked in a bit. Coffee tomorrow? 10 a.m. My treat. Really want to catch up." I felt better just sending it. This was what I did. I reached out. I fixed things. She texted back almost instantly. "Oh my God, that's so sweet, but Hannah already offered. She's taking me to that new French place. She said I sounded stressed and needed a real treat. She's just the most thoughtful person, isn't she?" My fingers went numb. She'd beaten me to it. Again.
She said Lycan sounded stressed. She was giving her a real treat. I just stared at the text. "That's amazing!" I typed back, my thumbs stiff. "You deserve it. We'll catch up soon." That was it. The point of no return. I didn't text back. I just went. I had to see it. I told myself it was just to understand the competition, but I was lying. I was terrified. I drove to the French place. I parked across the street, feeling like a total creep, my hands clutching the steering wheel. And there they were, sitting at a little sidewalk table, holding matching blue cups. They looked like a postcard. Lycan was talking, her hands moving, and she looked so relieved, so unburdened. And Hannah was listening, her face the perfect picture of empathy, nodding in all the right places, her head tilted just so. She was doing my moves. I just sat there, my chest getting tighter and tighter. I was losing. I was being replaced right in front of my eyes. She wasn't just doing my job, she was better at it. She was just calm. And then Hannah stopped. She was in the middle of nodding at something Lycan said. She slowly turned her head right across the street, through 2 lanes of traffic, through my windshield. She looked directly at me. She smiled. It wasn't the warm, bright smile she gave Lycan. This one was wide. Too wide. It was just for me. And her eyes, I swear to God I saw it. Just for a second, the light hit them and they weren't brown. They flashed a deep blood red. And she knew I saw it. She was showing me. "I'm here," that smile said, "and they're all mine."
After that, I panicked. I knew this wasn't a competition I could win by being nice. This wasn't a simple new girl scenario. This was a fight. This was an invasion. So I did the only thing I knew. I planned. I decided to throw everything I had into one last massive event, the annual Harvest Festival. This was my baby, even bigger than the spring fling. This was my chance to prove that I was and always had been the real Amara, the essential one, the original. I threw myself into it like my life depended on it. I guess it did. I spent 2 weeks calling in favors, booking the best food trucks, hand-painting signs. I was a whirlwind of brittle, desperate energy. I didn't sleep, I barely ate, I was running on pure Terravite adrenaline and 3-shot lattes. My calendar was a rainbow of overlapping tasks. I was going to give them an event so perfect, so detailed, so me, that they'd have to remember. They'd have to. The day of the festival, I was the first one at the community hall. I pulled up at 9 a.m., my car loaded with boxes of decorations, my laminated run sheet on a clipboard in my hand. The parking lot was empty. I mean, completely empty. Not one car. The hall was dark. I checked my phone. No texts, no emails. "Weird," I muttered. "People are running late." I walked up to the door, and it was locked. My heart started to do that cold, sinking thing. "Hello?" I called out, my voice sounding stupidly small. That's when my phone buzzed. A group text from Lycan.
Hey everyone, changing plans. The weather is gorgeous today. It felt like a crime to be inside. Hannah's moved the autumn welcome to the main park. She's brought her guitar and spiked cider. See you all there. Hannah's autumn welcome. I just stood there. I didn't know why I did it. I had to see. I got back in my car. I drove to the park just a few blocks away, and there they were. Everyone. My whole life. All my friends. Sitting on blankets in the perfect golden red autumn sunlight. Lycan, Jen, Hanzo, the new neighbors from 4B. Kids were running, dogs were playing, and in the center of it all, of course, was Hannah. She wasn't running around with a clipboard. She wasn't stressed. She was just there, sitting on a blanket, strumming a guitar, laughing, that effortless, warm smile pulling everyone into her orbit. She'd brought one thing, a big thermos. That was it. And they loved her for that. I stood by my car about 100 feet away. I was holding my now useless clipboard, my spreadsheets, my timelines, my hand-painted signs. None of it mattered. Nobody even looked for me. Why would they? They already had an Amara, a better one. I finally understood. I wasn't in a fight. The fight was already over. And I'd lost before I even knew it started. I wasn't just being replaced. I was redundant. It was the fussy, overcomplicated beta version. She was the seamless upgrade. I didn't go home. I went back to the community hall. I used my key to let myself in. I just stood in the middle of the empty, dark gymnasium. The air smelled like cold floor wax and dust. The only sound was the hollow echo of my own breathing. I had built my entire life on being the person who fills a room, and in the end, my only reward was to be left standing completely, devastatingly alone in an empty one. My purpose wasn't just stolen, it was extinguished.
That was weeks ago. Late autumn has turned to early, cold winter. I don't go out anymore. My calendar is empty. The texts stopped coming. First, they were "Where are you?" texts, but I'm sure Hannah took care of those. She probably told them I was taking some me time or on a big work project, and she'd say it with that perfect empathetic face. "She just needs space," she'd say. "I'll take care of everything." And they'd all nod and say, "Hannah, you're just so thoughtful." My phone is silent now. I just sit here in my house and watch. Tonight is the night I used to host the big winter safety meeting. I started it. I made the hot cocoa. I lemonaded the emergency contact lists. It was my thing. I'm looking out my living room window right now. The lights are on in the community hall across the green. I can see people filing in, laughing, shaking the snow off their boots. They look so happy, so taken care of. Hannah just stepped out onto the porch, her back to me, talking on her phone. She's wearing a red coat. She looks so vibrant against the blue snow. She ended her call, and she stopped. She just stood there for a second. Then, slowly, she turned around. She looked right across the dark green, right at my window. The window I've been hiding behind. A window she shouldn't know to look at. She smiled. It wasn't the warm, bright smile for the crowd. It was the one I saw at the cafe, the one that was just for me. It was wide and slow, and it wasn't human. And as the porch light hit her face, Her eyes flashed. Just for a second. A deep, brilliant, cold blood red. It wasn't a smile of victory. It was a smile of acknowledgement. A farmer patting the prize cow. My whole life, I was terrified that I was worthless unless I was doing something for someone. That little girl, so desperate to be the good, helpful girl, just to be seen. That need, it wasn't a strength. It was a beacon. It was a dinner bell. It wasn't a person who beat me. It was a thing, a parasite that seeks out that very need. It found the biggest, neediest helper in the herd, and it latched on. It's feeding on all the love, all the trust, all the joy I worked my whole life to build. She just turned and went back inside. To my meeting. To my friends. To my life. And I'm still here. In the dark. Finally. Truly. Useless.
Did that story make your skin crawl? That's just a taste of what's lurking. Show your support by liking and subscribing. We're all in this together to survive the next spine-chilling story.